To give us a speech this afternoon. Thank you.
Mr. President, members of OBOSO, the Cameroon Student Association of Eindhoven, distinguished professors of Fontis, ladies and gentlemen. It is a real pleasure for us, my delegation and myself, to be here today to support this quite young association. From the president, they are 5 years old, but for a 5-year-old child, it seems that they've been old enough to start building houses. Generally, in our culture, you will wait to have to be at least around 20. Then the father will find a woman for you. He will give you a piece of land, and you will start building houses. But I know that we are in a very performing environment here in Eindhoven, where with new technologies, with computers we were talking about, that you can do many things virtually and concretely. This event today is part of a general month of Cameroon in the Netherlands. And we are, as I was saying at the beginning, very pleased that this dynamic association has been involved in our activities. Those activities are mainly exactly with the same goals you have heard from the president. We want to promote our country in the Netherlands. We want to promote our culture here. And we want also to have a look back home to help our youth there, to help our people to develop as rapidly as possible. So when you see students who are themselves trying to promote quality education, it means that the country they are from, the country of origin, has a lot of hope and is not an incident. But it's very understandable that they have chosen a right name, calling themselves OBOSO, meaning the way forward. So I will not keep you very long today, just to confirm that the Cameroon Embassy today and in the future will push and support OBOSO, of course, in the limits of what we will be able to do. We will do it for OBOSO. We are firmly committed to do it for all the associations of Cameroon in the Netherlands, because we think that our diaspora you are part of is a key actor for the future of Cameroon, for the development of Cameroon. So without delaying all the list of activities from gastronomy, cultural dances, the exhibition, the village, I will stop there, encouraging them but with a word to the Fontis staff and structure to thank them particularly. We know what they are doing for our students here. Many have performed already here, have been graduated from Fontis, are now back to Cameroon, and they are doing well. I know that it's a very performing school, and we think that not only those who are here now, but also those who will come in the future will have the same positive environment, so that we will try to benefit more from the competencies of this very valuable environment. Thank you very much, and all my support to Oboso. Thank you.
For a word for us this evening. We have in our midst a village, so to speak, a Cameroonian village that is replica of the kind of structures that we do have back home in Cameroon. And because we are really honored today by the ambassador, we will want to inaugurate this village. Accordingly, we want to have our ambassador to inaugurate this village for us. So we want to call on the president of Oboso to lead the ambassador in the way for us to have this solemn event. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you may be wondering what is going on. I think it is important that we try to elucidate on what is going on here. And now what happens is that the ambassador is in a communication with our customary people. And the kind of communication is such that it is not everybody who is entitled to get the information. And so it is encrypted in a way that our ancestors can better understand. And so in the inauguration process, the ambassador has to go through a couple of houses in the village, and he's been through the first one, and he's going to go to another one. And the ambassador is having a feeling of the things that are usually inside the house. We have a bush lamp at the corner to give light. There is some food stuff which are typical of the kind of food that are being eaten over there. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a round of applause for the inauguration. I want to proceed with a traditional song from our group that came all the way from France, called the Tiga Benvaba. I think I pronounced it right. The Tiga Benvaba, all the way from France. moment, we are going to have a presentation of Cameroon's culture and tourism. So we want to get a retrospect of what this country looks like in the next couple of minutes. And we really want to try to portray Cameroon as much as we can to a public that is yet to know about her. And we hope that you shall, through this presentation, be at least thoroughly informed on the glitz and glamour of that country.
Thank you very much for your attendance. Once again, welcome to Cameroon. And this day we commemorate that Cameroon united itself in 1972 as one nation. So, and since Cameroon is also made up of all the populations of Africa, you could say that Cameroon is Africa in one nation state. So that's what I would like to talk to you about, why we are celebrating the 20th of May. Why is it that you are here today? Thanks, let me first bring you back to Cameroon. Sometimes when people ask me where is Cameroon when they do not know, I'll always say, well, if you picture Africa as a gun, well, Cameroon is where you pull the trigger. And I really love that because it's really central, and well, it's bordered, as you can see, by Nigeria, Chad, Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, and the Republic of Congo. And the total area is 47542. It's like, let's say like 12 times bigger than the Netherlands almost, or something like that. Next. And also something about the origin of the country's name. It's a quite funny story to get one's country name the way it happened, because it is derived from the Portuguese word of Camarões, which means shrimps. I don't know if you love shrimps, but yeah, I come from a country that its name is shrimps, and I love it. And so that's how it came about, that a Portuguese sailor arrived at the river Douala, and he discovered this river, and he thought, wow, so it's just a river of shrimps here, let us call it a river of shrimps. And before people knew it, it evolved to Cameroon, and it became the name of the entity that we now call Cameroon. And well, we are now moving forward. I'd like to tell you a bit more about this. Cameroon was not occupied first when the Portuguese arrived, because they didn't go inland, they just stayed at the coast for trading goods and in people. And in the late 19th century, the Germans arrived, implanted
to show that we value family and family values. The man is stretching out to show how much he has just in his clothing. Now he tells us he must be one kind of a rich businessman somewhere. This is another kind of shoes he's putting on, the kind that are used in the northern part of Cameroon because they have semi-desertic conditions. So it is better to use this kind of shoe. Our daughter is using another kind of shoes, which is another pair of sandals that is also very conducive for the kind of conditions and atmospheric temperatures that we will have in that part of the country. You realize that the woman is putting on some clothing on her hair, and that shows submission, that shows respect and authority, that shows also the protection she gives around the house. And you see that she wants to show to us the value of an African woman by the radiation that comes from the clothing that she has. Now this is an African pearl you see in front of us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We want to say that if you want to get married to such a woman, you should not bring only the euros in your bank account. There is much more than meets the eye. There is, you see, the jewelry that she puts on. Now the husband had to give that as part of the dowry in order to get her into his house. You you realize that the daughter is well prepared and well arranged as a daughter that comes from that part of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, another applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a trio with us this afternoon. The guy in the middle has a tube, a pipe. He tells us he is a piper, he is a smoker. But that's not what I want us to emphasize on tonight. What I want us to emphasize is the way he drags it, is the way he handles it. He shows corporate responsibility both at home and in the community. His dress is one of a kind. I want to say that it is only the notables around the village or the community that put on such a dress. Actually, you are not allowed to put on such a dress if you are not unquote ordained into the decision makers in the kingdom or in the fandom where they come from. His black hat tells us a story. It tells us that he is in touch with the ancestors. Our lady to my left shows one of the typical tribes, how they are dressed, called the Bamoons. Now the Bamoons they have another tradition that is typical and close to the Islamic religion. And we see our woman in a very beautiful pink dress over here. She wants to show us, can you just show us one of your typical moves? One of the typical moves you want to get the best guy in the community not to have his eyes off you. Just one of the best moves you will have to make. Can you just show it to our audience? I bet you, if somebody is coming to have your hand in marriage, you better be a good dancer over there. It is not unusual for our families and our men to be married to more than one woman. Now, I will tell you straight that the one to his left is the first wife. The one to the right is the second wife. The one to the left is the first wife because she caught his eye at the first time. And as times moved on, his eyes kind of developed blurred vision. So he had another taste for a second wife. Now I want you to understand that the second wife on his right has a different apparel to the first wife to his left. The second wife to his right is a modern day Cameroonian woman. The kind you will find in the beaches when you come around.
That's the point.
Not only her hairstyle tells us of the myriad of ethnicity that belongs in Cameroon. We also see the typical coastal apparel that she puts on. We want to emphasize the point that the combination from head to toe just matches such that such a man will have no choice but to spot her if he comes around. Ladies and gentlemen, we want us to appreciate our couple. Now, like any country, ladies and gentlemen, Cameroon is also trying to go through generational balances, generational differences, and is very well trying to accommodate them. Now, these are two typical sons, two typical children of a Cameroonian woman. Now, just like we have of the wives that we saw a moment ago, so is it of the children. The one to his right is a typical mommy's son. He will want to buy mommy's heart by putting on a traditional attire that will appease mommy in the house. Now the guy to his left, to her left, is the modern day young Cameroonian, the nice younger in the build. That is the guy who will not only want to dance makossa traditionally, he will also want to dance some hip-hop along the way. Now, this tells us the kind of generational transition that we are going through in Cameroon. And our mother, holding her hands, is trying to bring such generations together. And that is a very important aspect that our mothers do play back home. By trying to accommodate the variation in this generation of children that we have today. Our mother, an African mother, a Cameroonian mother, plays an important role in bringing up such a young generation of young people like the kind that you find in this audience today. Ladies and gentlemen, another applause for our Cameroonian mother and her two sons.
Then they see. we are very thankful that you took the trouble to move from The Hague, to travel from The Hague to Eindhoven, just for your beloved children. They are not children, they are engineers working to become 8. We are so thankful. Actually, as you hear, our vision is to be Cameroonian as you are told. Oboso is what we are saying. Going forward, not alone, but together. Not alone, thinking of those prophetic words in our national anthem, from north to south. At that moment, when he was saying that, he was thinking of the north of Cameroon. He was thinking of the south of Cameroon. But in the world of globalization, we are so far from Cameroon. Still, we want to be Cameroonian, united. As we know, God will pour his blessing just where people are united. It is our prayer. So again, as you are now going back, after having taken the trouble to come to visit your children, the beloved one, our prayer is, as true as God has appointed you and show you his faithfulness, that he be always with you and your beloved one. And we believe that he will still give you the strength and the marvelous vision you have to gather all the Cameroonians living in the Netherlands, so that our country will be blessed. Thank you, Your Excellency. What we have here is just our cry, our confession, our profession, Cameroon Oboso. Thank you. I would just like you to see it. And when you put it on in the summer, you know that somebody loves you in Eindhoven, Oboso, your people. But since you are not alone, you have the whole back. Actually, you are our father. So it is not to be taken like that, just to show this whole back is for you, Your Excellency. Thanks for coming to this one. I will give the word back to... Pardon. So, oh, you were not hearing me.
It was okay.
Okay, thanks.
Delegation here tonight. Thank you. Thank you again, and I will quote very renowned Cameroonian, Anselmo.
Continuez!
As we were saying, it's not finished because His Excellency was not alone. He came with his wife as well. And because we cannot give also things coming from Cameroon, we have to think about something special in Holland, in Netherlands, to show also our integration here. It's a clump, they call clump, shoes. So it's for madam. And it means we are very, very thankful that you travel here to come and support our brothers who are fighting here to develop our country. Thank you very much.
So, dear invitees, every good thing
has an end. And we are gradually shifting to the end of this program. We would like to tell you that our band here will be organizing 2 concerts within 1 week and will be present in the Let's Meet Africa event during this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, the Let's Meet Africa event, which you are all invited. On this, I was very pleased on behalf of my association to have you here. And as I said at the beginning, we count you partners of development and peace in which we are firmly engaged. Thank you very much. I would like us to have a last family picture with the ambassador. All those who are here, we have a family picture. Thank you very much.